Okay. Bismillah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Islam.
Okay. So for today, uh, we will introduce ourselves first. So my name is Manggala Nugroho, and you can call me Arqa. And this is my friend. You can call him Xkhuka.
Okay.
Okay. So uh, and we are going to host a live podcast featuring a special guest from Germany. Good morning, Mr. Laurs. How are you doing today?
Good morning. I'm doing fine. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine too. So, Mr. Laurs, would you mind introducing yourself first?
Yes, sure. I'm Moritz Laurs. I have studied so far in Germany. I studied mechanical engineering at the RWTH. It's a technical university in Aachen in the west of Germany. And I just finished my studies, started traveling and discovering Indonesia so far. Yeah, my field of studies after energy engineering was energy system design. And after these vacations, I will start looking for jobs. Yes, before I studied, I grew up in Belgium, actually, in another country, and went to school over there.
Okay, thank you for the introduction, Mr. Lars. So now we will move into the question session, but we will keep the conversation casual and relaxed, so don't have to take things too seriously. Okay. So, may I ask something? Okay. So my first question is, I want to ask you, could you tell us a little about what it's like to live in Germany,
It's
please?
like to live in Germany.
Yes.
Um, yes, so my life in Germany has been the student life so far. If people in Germany start their studying, usually it's after school, like with more or less 18 years old. Some people did an apprenticeship before, so they start studying a little bit later. And if people study, they usually don't live with their parents anymore. Some people do, but most people move to another city for studying and then they look for a flat there. So some people go to an own apartment, but also lots of people go to shared flats where they live with other students together. And yeah, so in Germany, I would say in comparison, you are quite free during your studying life. You can have your own life. You study. Lots of people work next to their studies to have next a little bit of extra money. And studying is a good. So studying in Germany is a good part of life, I would say. Next to studies, people participate in different sport classes or they take language classes. So studying is not only going to university, it's also all about the life around doing sports, learning languages, meeting lots of other people.
Okay. I also heard that Germany have a good education. So, Mister, what do you think the most thing enjoy about living in Germany?
What I enjoyed most about living in Germany, I think it's really the freedom of deciding myself when I don't want to do what. Like also university in Germany, the classes are often not obligatory, so you're quite free. You can study at home if you more like studying on your own. You can go to university if you want to go there. But like lots of people are better just studying on their own, reading the papers on their own, and not going to the classroom so often can be better for some students. I really enjoyed that freedom.
Oh, okay, okay. Uh, so That's for the education in Germany. So I want to ask the next question. That is, I want to know about what aspects of German culture do you find like the most unique or special for you?
Um, the German culture. So the German. Let me think about that. Yeah, there are lots of typical German things. I for myself wouldn't say that I enjoy the most typical things like where I'm living in the Western Germany. It's a main town of Carnival, for example, which is in February. So people start taking costumes and they go out celebrating the winter, the end of winter maybe, and they go out on the streets. There will be lots of cars with like big cars that they were constructed so that they have some message, sometimes some political message, sometimes they are just joking. That's a big German culture, but it's only in rest of Germany. Germany has like different parts where culture is a little bit different. If you go to Munich, they, for example, have the Oktoberfest, like there are big tents and people from all over the world come over to see it. And people drink like lots of beer there. And to be honest, it's not so much my pair of shoes. I don't go to the Oktoberfest or Carnival so much, but it's a big part of the German culture, I would say, yes. So that's the main thing that comes to my mind if I think about German culture. Lots of drinking beers.
Yeah, I heard also German have very unique culture, actually drinking beer. The next question I will ask is a bit specific about your job. So I wanted to ask, how do you help make sure we have enough energy for everyone? Since you are an energy engineer.
Did I get it right? So the question is, how do I make sure that I have enough energy for everything since I'm an energy engineer? That was the question?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, it depends. So, for me myself, I have discovered that the weather, the season in Germany has a lot of impact to the people's energy. So here in Indonesia, you enjoy lots of sun, you have lots of good weather. Okay, you have rain season for sure, but yeah, during the summer, I think the good weather gives me lots of energy. I can do lots of stuff. I do my work afterwards. I have energy to do sports and I enjoy life. But also in winter, if you have like only daylight for, let's say, 8 hours, maybe even less, people's energy goes low. So they get up in the dark, they go to work, they come home when it's dark again, so they cannot enjoy any sunlight. And people discover that after work, people don't have that much energy left. So after work, they just go home and they watch a movie and they have to take some time for themselves as well. Um, yeah, but that's it. If you work, you take your time for yourself, you enjoy some relaxed time after work, and you make sure that you have enough energy the next day, for sure. Also, some equalizing is good. If you work on a computer all day, like I do, you have to do lots of sport after work, like a couple times a week, that you don't only be sitting on a chair all day long. So after work, you can do a workout or whatever. That's how you make the balance between work and life.
Okay, so I want to ask, the as an energy system design, do you have any like challenges that are like challenges working as an energy system design? Um, I don't know how to explain it.
Mm. Can you repeat the question, please?
So I want to ask, are there any like challenges that you get as working as an energy system design?
Oh, mhm. Yes, for sure. So, as an energy system designer, my main task is, for example, especially right now, where you probably also heard about it, that the world has to change a little bit, that we need to have more renewable energies instead of coal and gas and so on to have less of carbon emissions. Our main task is to see to develop systems that always give the energy that is needed. Like now we have more and more of volatile energy, especially in Germany. They try to get rid of the coal energy, which means that we have to use more of solar energy, of wind energy. But these kind of energy forms are not always there. We only have solar energy if the sun is shining, but some people need energy during the night. So a task for me would be to develop a system containing of solar panels and also batteries to make sure that always the energy that is needed is available. Even Germany and Indonesia have some common projects. For example, in Indonesia, you have all these islands, and often they are not connected to the main net, to the main energy net. So on these islands, they have generators, and these generators run with diesel. Diesel is quite expensive and has lots of CO2 emissions. So one big project right now is to replace these diesel generators with solar panels, but it's a big task. As you know, Indonesia has lots of islands, so it will take its time. But with this project, probably the world could reduce a lot of CO2 emissions. Because right now in Indonesia, I think 85% I read from the energy only comes from coal and gas, which is really a lot. So Indonesia is at the same time near the equator. You have like a really big potential of solar energy, and it would be sad if it won't be used in the future. Also, Indonesia has all the volcanoes, which means in the end you have lots of geothermic potential of energy. You already use a lot, per person in Indonesia, more geothermal energy is used than in Europe, actually, by the way. But there's still way more to get, I suppose.
Okay, so I wanted to ask before you said that Indonesia might have potential, big potential on oil and gas, on gas, and I might ask uh, if in Germany, what the resource are how you make energy most in Germany.
Since not a long time, actually, renewables get more and more. So there are international contracts that Germany and most of European countries have to be CO2 neutral in a couple of years. So they are really forcing to get more and more of the new renewables. Also, the population is quite aware. There are lots of demonstrations, but at the same time, other people of the population are against rent energy for some reasons. But still, I think at the moment, it's the first time that they get sometimes more than 50% of renewable energies, but still, one of the main sources in Germany is still coal, which is really, it's the brown coal, which is one of the worst forms of energy because it gives the most CO2. So Germany is a little bit under pressure to change that really quickly. Germany had some atomic power plants in the past, but the last ones were shut off last year. Um, So right now they are just improving lots of wind field energy, of solar energy. There are big projects of building wind power plants on the oceans because there you have even more energy potential. So yeah, you'll see a development from coal energy to renewable energy, especially right now at the moment. Germany also had gas energy in the past. Gas energy is important to evaluate fluctuations because it can turn on and off really quickly. So if suddenly a cloud hides the sun, gas energy is quite well to adapt to the sudden energy change, but it's also still fossil energy, so it has to be reduced, even though it will stay part of the energy system due to its good um, good possibilities to adapt sudden energy change.
Okay. So I want to ask you again one question. What kind of tools or machines do you usually use for your job, like energy system design?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Oh yeah. So can I ask you what kind of tools or machines that you use for your job as an energy system design? No.
What kind of machines? I didn't get that point, sorry.
Tools. The tools.
Fuels.
Yes, the tools that you use for your
You
job.
asked what fuels are used in Germany for the machines, you mean?
Yeah, what are the machines that you
Oh,
use in the job?
for the machines, like for cars, mainly benzene and diesel.
Oh,
For heating, they have oil that is quite similar to diesel, if that is a question. I'm not sure if I got you right now.
oh, yeah. I just want to know the machines for the job because I don't really know about energy system design, so I want to ask that.
So what machines are used in energy design system, you mean?
Yes, yes.
Oh, like what? Okay, I think I got you now. So an energy system design is set together from several things. Like if you think about everything that brings your electrical energy to your house as a part of an energy system, so it may contain of solar panel, of wind farm, of storages. You have electrical storages, you have heat storages. Also, a power plant would be part of an energy system. So everything that is connected to maybe electricity or also to heat, which are the main forms of energy that we need, is a part of an energy system. So also if you, for example, want to have hot water all day, all night, and you only have the sun as a source, one part of your energy system is the CSP, the central solar plant. And another part would be a heat storage that takes a part of the heat during the day, heats itself up, that it can discharge itself during the night when you have no sun. So there you have a energy system consisting of a central solar plant and a heat storage. What happens?
Uh,
Oh, that is
so
good.
you've explained about the solar and like the machines, and if I might know, uh, for um, like for the world, uh, what do you think is the most efficient machines, and what do you think is the most inefficient machines for energy?
It depends how you define the word efficiency. So let us reduce the word efficiency to the CO2 emissions that are a big thing right now, because you probably heard about climate change. And to stop the climate change, we have to reduce the CO2 emissions. So in my opinion, the most valuable point of efficiency is that we get less CO2 emissions. Maybe some economists will say the most efficient is the one that costs the less. And that's a big topic of disputes. Some people say coal is less expensive. Some people say in the long term it's better for photovoltaics or wind energy. So it's a topic where not everybody agrees, but if we look at the world and at the temperatures rising, we should take the focus to the CO2 emissions. And there we have, let's start with the worst. The worst, I would say, are like the coal power plants, the brown coal power plants, of which we have also a lot of in Germany, which is not such a good thing. But if you take the amount of electricity for the same amount of electricity, you really get lots of CO2 emissions, which will fasten the climate change. So on the other hand, you have the renewable ones like solar energy, wind energy, and so on. That are the ones we should stick on right now. Mm. Yeah, that's my opinion about. Yeah, as I say, the efficiency, like concerning the costs, is a big topic of dispute, and some people say coal is so easy to dig out, so we can just burn it, but in the long term, it will destroy our world, so we should find some alternatives.
Okay. So about machines and tools, what are the newest and also like the new inventions of the energy system design? I want to ask
Um,
like the newest
there
inventions.
are
Yeah.
there are lots of new concepts. There you have the question of efficiency again. Like people invented multiple ways of gaining energy, especially for the renewable ones. Often the only problem is that they are still in the beginning of their development, which makes them quite expensive, which means not so efficient right now. So if you just go to the already used ones, I told you solar panels are good. Wind energy, using of wind energy is quite well developed, but there are also lots of new systems that are in the prototype status. One of the most interesting that I learned about are, for example, some kind of snakes you put on the sea, and they use the energy of waves that go up and down. And with that, they start rotating and gaining energy just from the wave energy. Another interesting concept is similar, that are turbines that are set below sea level, and also they use the change of the sea to generate energy. They are not so easy to use though, because also in the sea you have salty water, so all the materials have to be resistant against the salty water. And so that's what it makes them a little bit more expensive, but they're in development, and the longer things are developed, the cheaper they get. So maybe in the future, there will be some underwater turbines near to Indonesia, who knows? Another quite interesting concept are the osmosis power plants. To gain energy, you always need a difference in temperature, for example, but also the difference in concentration of salt in sweet water and salt water can gain energy. So people made experiments and constructed power plants at the point where rivers join the sea. In the river, you have salty water, in the sea, you have salt water. And this difference can be used to gain some energy. But also here we have the problem, it's hard to develop. There's still lots of research to do. So at this moment right now, it's not so efficient. That's why it is not used so much, but people are researching on it, and the more people research, the cheaper it gets with the time. Mm.
Okay, so talking about research, I wanted to ask, What is the center of the research for energy? Because I'm sure there is many energy engineer, and I wanted to know where is the like focus, not focus. What? Wait, the center of the energy research place.
The center, you mean the main topic?
No, I mean the lab, like the lab where energy engineer comes together, like the center of the energy engineer, the place, like the lab. Is there or institute?
Oh, I wouldn't say that there's one special city or place in Germany where it all centers. There are lots of companies, they all do their own research about it. Like the car companies have to work on electrical cars right now. And there are lots of startups doing their own thing. There are startups that build up heat storages, for example, or electrical storages. So there's, for example, in my home city, one small startup where there's not too many people working there, and they are using old car batteries to stick them together to have one big electrical battery to store electrical energy. So it's not like one main place where everything is invented or developed. There are lots of companies, but for example, me myself, I did my master thesis. I worked at the DLR Research Center. Um, and yeah, DLR Research Center in Germany is the Deutsches Zentrum für Luft- und Raumfahrt, which means German Center for Aeronautical Aeronautics and airplanes. But they also have a big field of energy engineering, and their field of energy engineering also focuses most on the renewable energies. So they do a lot, but as I told you, there are lots of other companies. And the DLR Research Center also is not only in one city, it has some buildings all over Germany, not only in Germany. They have a station in Paris. They have another place in Almeria in the south of Spain where they research on the solar energies. Because also in the south of Spain they have way more sun than we have in Germany, so it's the right place to do it. So it's not centered at in one place. So you have some companies all over Germany and even more.
Okay, so I want to ask again. Like before, you say that one of the machines or tools in energy system design knows one. There's like a snake that you put on the sea, and then it will detect the waves and turn to energy, right? So does it have like an impact to energy in the future? Like what does it benefit and change?
Especially this system is run, we learned about in university. I think its development status isn't so far yet. I can't say if it will have a big impact in the future. Right now, I don't think so because it's quite difficult system. It's not so cheap to build up. So people are always looking for the cheapest possibility to gain energy. And this one is an interesting concept for sure. But right now, at the moment, I don't think it will play a main role. No, right now it doesn't. I don't think in the near future, but you never know what science goes to. Maybe they will find a really cheap way to make the system even better, but that's something nobody can predict the future perfectly.
Okay, I also wanted to ask, since nowadays many people now uses AI, so I wanted to ask, does AI have impact on energy engineering, like how is AI being integrated into energy management system?
I think so. And AI was never so much my field of priorities, but I know that lots of my friends from university that already started working also work together with AI. I cannot go too far into detail because I've never really worked with it. I never really used it, but I'm pretty sure that it also will have some impacts. I can't hear you.
Yes, so mm, maybe the what role does energy grids more efficient and sustainable, if I may ask?
So I didn't get the beginning of the question.
Uh, how can we make energy grids more efficient and sustainable?
Um, Energy grids most efficient and sustainable. It depends again. Like especially in Indonesia, it's a good question because you have all these islands and it's hard to connect them all with an energy grid. So there, especially there, probably you will have to make separate energy grids for each island and have their own energy systems with a battery and some hopefully solar power plants. Then if you watch at Sulawesi, for example, in Indonesia, you all the energy nets are not perfectly connected. So sometimes if you have too much energy in the south of Sulawesi, you cannot transfer it properly through the north of energy if there may be lack on energy. So a way would be to connect them better to develop the energy grids that you can transfer more energy from north to south. I think, for example, in Java, the grid is quite well connected. There, you can transfer energy from one city to the other, but as far as I read, Sulawesi has lots to do about it. This could make all your system way more efficient. But same counts for Germany. So since Germany wants to develop more and more, the best would be like 100% renewable energy. They have to transfer it because most of the wind for wind energy in Germany occurs in the north of Germany. So if they produce all this electrical energy in the north by wind power plants, they somehow have to transfer this energy to the south of Germany. Right now, the energy grid isn't good enough. They cannot transfer this amount of energy needed. So they have to make more, so they have to enlarge the energy grid from the north to the south that yeah, they won't have any problems with that anymore.
Okay. So, as many energy system design tools that can help give impact to the future cost many like money to run it. So, do you have any opinion on how to reduce the cost of the money to run the system? I mean, tools, and also what can the energy system design do so it can give impact to the future like that and help the people. So yeah,
If it's about you mean in Indonesia?
what?
You mean in Indonesia or all over?
Okay, maybe in Indonesia can.
So, what can energy system design do? So, the target of energy system design is that if we produce some electrical energy or some any kind of energy forms, that we use it perfectly, that we don't throw any part of that energy away. So, for example, if we produce too much energy, that we directly have another use for the remaining energy, that the less possible of it will be thrown away. So one part of the job is, for example, developing simulation engines, simulation programs, or just using simulation programs to predict the future according to, for example, the sun at the sky, or also the wind. People measure wind and sun energy all over the world, all over the year. And with these data, with simulation programs, you can try to predict the future. So you build models of solar plants, of energy storage, and this and so on. And then you can calculate how much, for example, solar panels, energy storages you need to always have enough energy on an island, that you don't have to buy too many solar panels, that you don't have to buy too many storages, that you only buy as much as really is needed. That's the main task, yeah. So that's same in Germany, actually. It's all over the world.
Okay, also speaking about the future, what do you think the future for energy in 20 or 13 years?
Can you repeat the question, please?
What the future energy in 20 or 30
Oh,
years?
the future energy. It really depends on the country. Like in Europe, they probably will be a little bit quicker than maybe in other countries. In Europe, they have some contracts, and they say in 30 to 50 years, I think it should be in most of the countries around 100% renewable energy. And the most developed energy forms right now are wind energy, solar panels, so photovoltaics. So, in my opinion, in 30 to 50 years, at least in Europe, everything will be full of wind power plants and photovoltaics. And in other countries, it will maybe take some more time. Also, in some countries, they stick on atomic energy. This also may play a big role. Especially in Germany, they try to get rid of the atomic energy because of accidents that happened in the past. There are other countries, for example, France, they really like atomic energy. They think it's an easy, simple, and cheap way to gain electrical energy. But that's a topic where all the engineers still disagree. If you go to a German energy engineer, he will tell you, no, don't use atomic energy. It's dangerous. If you ask a French engineer, they will say it's the best and the cheapest form. We should use it. So people don't really agree about that. So maybe in 30 to 50 years in Germany, all of Germany will be covered by photovoltaics and wind energy, while France will be covered by atomic power plants, by nuclear power plants.
Okay. So, my question is, can you guys give us like advice for young people that's interested in pursuing a career in engineering, so people that like that I mean like interested on a job
Hmm.
in energy engineering.
If you're interested in energy engineering and you go to school, if you have the choice, then you should choose lots of mathematical and physical classes. Also, chemistry is a big thing for energy engineers. And yeah, work on it yourself. And if you have the chance to, you can probably study something like this later in university. Um, So that's what I can suggest you. I really like mathematics and physics in school, so I always chose to have as much as possible of these classes. And later at university, I discovered the reality that university for me was way harder than school, but still, because I really was interested in it, I could always make it. So I always had the passion for it. My main target was actually to make the world a better place according to the energy systems. So I always had the motivation to keep doing it.
Okay, so I want to ask, uh, because some of us, maybe there is some of the people in all around the world, maybe they waste too much energy without they knowing. Do you know what is the energy saving tips for us? Like from what every day of us do, maybe there is something that we just waste too much energy that we just don't realize.
I don't really know how it's in Indonesia. I just can tell you that yes, you're absolutely right about that. I see people in Germany running their TV every day, every second without even watching it, which is just a waste of big energy. Um, so mainly, yes, people just have to be aware of what they are using. People have to be aware of what too much energy use leads to. Like if we just use too much energy, we need to produce more electricity. More producing of electricity will raise the CO2 emissions, which will lead to quicker climate change and to a quicker rise of sea level, which nobody of us wants. Um, so yes, we should be aware of the consequences of how much energy of we have to be aware of consequences of using too much energy. Maybe people should not fly every week somewhere, even if they have the money. Flying leads to so many CO2 productions. So if you want to take an airplane somewhere, be aware what you are doing. Be aware that what it produces, and just don't fly to vacation every 3 or 4 weeks. Maybe I think that's more a thing for German people because they do lots of vacation. I think the Indonesian people that I talk to don't fly that much. So I think I don't know. I don't think that in Indonesia it's such a big problem. Maybe it's more the government problem that they should change the type of energy, like not using gas and coal so much anymore. And especially in Germany, the individuals can be way more aware of what they are using and what it leads to.
Okay. So, Mr. Lars, what is the thing that makes you the most excited when you're doing your job or maybe learning about your job, like you say, math or physics or others, and what makes you like motivated of keep doing your job and your passion and to help the world to be a better place like that.
For me, always one of the most important things was that I really see that the kind of work I do improves the world a little bit. And even if it's only a bit, I want to have an impact to what's happening right now. So if I would have a job and it's just about making something a tiny bit cheaper, but I don't see that we help the world getting a better place, I wouldn't like it. I always need to look for something where I see that what I am doing can improve the world's health. So I really like work on the renewable energies because I know the more I work on renewable energies, the less CO2 will be emitted. Also, I feel good when I can help other people somehow out. When I was preparing a little bit for this interview, I was researching about the energy systems in Indonesia, and I figured out that Germany is working on projects together with Indonesia. Like I told you, they have this project, 1,000 islands, 1,000 PV power plants, where they want to substitute the diesel generators by some photovoltaic panels. So that would be something where I would really, for example, enjoy working at, because I don't do yeah now, but since I read about it, I was thinking about applying for this after my travels here. Because there, I would know on the one hand that I could have a good impact to the CO2 emissions, and on the other hand, I could work with another country that I really like and where I really would like to help the people having a cleaner environment.
Okay, so there's so many things you have explained about like fossil or the non-renewable resources. It's bad for the environment, but as the world now, they still use estimated about 80% of the non-renewable. So, what do you think if the world ran out of non-renewable resources?
Sorry, can you repeat that, please? I didn't really get everything.
What do you think? Is the world ready if the non-renewable resources ran out?
Sorry.
If the world ran out of non-renewable like fossil, they ran out of it.
You say if the world ran out of renewable energies.
No, the non-renewable.
Okay. Okay, now I got you. If the world ran out, yeah, that's a thing. So I don't actually know, for example, in your country, in Indonesia, how it's going, how much renewable energies are left. I think there are lots of resources, as far as I remember it, right? In Germany, they already know, for example, that in limited amount of years, there won't be any coal anymore. There won't be any gas anymore, or it will be more and more expensive to get them out of the earth. And yeah, that's also a reason why they have to stick on renewable energies. It is possible to run all of Germany only with renewable energies. There's enough of potential. It's all a question about the costs. But the harder it gets to get the fossil energies like oil and gas, the more expensive it gets. And at a certain point, it will be so expensive to get the last bits of coal and gas that they suddenly see, okay, now really everything of renewable energy is less expensive. So it will be a change to the renewable energies. It has to, because we will run out, but hopefully the world will make it quicker, because the quicker we make it, the less the lower the slower the climate change will occur.
Okay. I want to ask you another question about your job. So, do you have any like dream project that in energy system design that you've always wanted to do, but you didn't have the chance to do it? So, yeah.
Mm, There, I wouldn't say there's like the main project that I always wanted to do. I know the field of work that I want to work in. As I told you, if I want to feel happy with my work, I have to fulfill the 2 points of having an impact to the world, and also to work with people where I am thinking that I can actually better their lives a little bit. I would really like to work somewhere else than in Germany. I would like to make some experience abroad. Um, so it's, for me, it's not really the field of engineering what's on my bucket list. It's more the places where I want to work. I don't want to stick all my life in Germany. I want to see a little bit of the world. And if I have the chance to maybe work a little bit in Australia or Canada, or maybe even in Indonesia, as I told you, I would really like to participate in projects that help other countries, because I gotta admit, in Germany we are quite developed with everything, and there are projects that help other countries that don't have the technologies yet. So I would really feel fulfilled if I could just participate in programs that bring the knowledge of Germany to other countries that could profit from German experiences. Can't hear you.
Wait. I wanted to ask, what happens to the energy if we use too much electricity? Because I think energy and electricity have some different things.
You ask about the difference between energy and electricity. Did I get you right?
Yes.
So energy is like is called the main form of energy. You have energy everywhere, even if you so energy can occur in multiple forms, I would say. And the two main forms of energy that we use in our days is heat energy and electrical energy. And heat energy is used, so if you have like first kind of energy, you have, for example, the gas. And if you burn it, it transfers into heat and into heat energy. You can also use this gas, and with a turbine, you can transfer it into electrical energy, and you will have some losses if you do this. So the difference between energy and electric energy mainly is that energy is the main form and electrical energy is a sub-form of energy, just as heat energy is.
Okay. Because I don't have any more questions about energy system design. So I want to ask about how's your lab German. So wait. Hmm. So how do you compare the education in Germany and or Indonesia? Does it this could Indonesia be yeah, how to explain? Can Indonesia can be more improved in education so it can catch Germany in terms of education because Germany is, as we know, one of the country that is large. Yeah, like that. So how do you how can you tell me how to improve the education in Indonesia?
So it's hard for me to compare the German or maybe Belgian went to school education to the one of Indonesia because I've never been to school in Indonesia, so I don't really know how it works. I was talking to some Indonesian people to figure out about it a little bit. They told me already that school in Indonesia is obligatory, like everybody has to go to school, which is a good thing already. And as I see here, you are all learning English, which is really important also for engineering in the future, because if you want to learn more, if you want to study, some classes could be in English. And even if not, if you start going really deep into research, lots of scientific publications are presented in English and not in Indonesian language. So learning the English language in a proper way is a really important part of good school education, I would say. But as far as I see it, you are doing it right now, so you are quite well at it. Still, I see lots of people that don't speak so good English, unfortunately. So that you are doing these projects has already a good impact to the education system, I think. I didn't go to school in Germany, as I told you. I went to school in Belgium, where we had first French class, and we started having English class in the 8th grade, so it was a little bit late. But still, it was always important for me. And since in school I didn't feel so confident speaking English afterwards, I started traveling and speaking to people in other countries. There, I'm obligated to speak English, otherwise, I cannot communicate. And that's the way how you actually learn another language. Just go to other people, talk to them, like one of your school friends did. I was in Bromo at the waterfall, and one of your friends came to me and he just talk to me in English because he wanted to improve his English skills. So that's actually already a really important good task, really good and important exercise that he did over there. And he really spoke good English. I think he did it quite often, just speaking to some tourists.
Okay, so another general question I wanted to ask. It's out of the about energy. But I heard that Germany is a very clean place. I wanted to know how does Germany handle recycling and waste management? Because if you know, Indonesia is a little bit dirty about waste management.
So on the one hand, in Germany, people, for example, already separate their trash. There's not one trash bin for everything. They have like bio trash where they put like old apples and lemons and everything that turns into dirt, into soil after a while. Then we also have trash for only plastic stuff, like for only artificial trash, and so we have also another trash only for paper stuff that can be, for example, burned or just recycled to new paper. So then recycling is another thing that people use trash and they treat it that they can reuse it in another form. And some kind of trash will actually put into power plants and it will be burned to gain energy. But also, bad thing is that Germany takes some trash on ferries and brings it to other countries that pay money, and they pay money to the other countries that can just leave it there. So yes, some things are good, and some things I would say are not the fairest, to be honest. But yeah, I think separating trash is already a big thing that can have a good impact. And also throwing trash in the trash bins and not just throwing it into the nature, which I sadly see quite often, that you're in beautiful places in the middle of nature and suddenly you have a field of trash over there. That's something that just should not occur.
Okay. So I want to ask a question that's a bit more general. I have a question for you as a German. Uh, so can you tell me like facts about German that most people from around the world doesn't know right now? Like some facts that only German knows, but us from other country doesn't know.
Mm, can you repeat the question? I didn't really get it.
What?
Can you repeat your question, please?
Oh, so I want to ask, like, can you give me some facts about German that us from another country doesn't know? Yes,
Oh, some
this one
facts
about.
of Germany that other countries probably don't know.
Yeah.
Let me think about that. What's a typical German thing? Maybe if Germans are cheering, they are saying, "Oh, cheers! We drink something together." They have to watch in each other's eyes. It's something that we always have to do. Everything else, which seem weird. Um, yeah, some fact that Germans know.
Okay, so because of the time, it's almost an hour actually. Uh, Maybe this will be a closing. So maybe that's all from me, Xkhuka and Mr. Laurs. There have been many explanation about German and also the job of being an energy engineer. So we'll close this. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih.